Hello there, it's Regine again, your host for Pajama Productivity. Welcome back to our episode for this month. And I'm really excited for this episode because, as special as last month's Mother's Day special, of course, for the month of June, we are going to have our Father's Day special episode. And if you are a dad or soon to be dad, maybe sitting in your car right now, or maybe listening to this during your morning commute, or maybe you're staring at your computer in your office or in your cubicle, this episode was specifically made for you. For decades, society has handed men a very specific blueprint for success, especially Filipinos. It told us that being a good husband and a good father meant really leaving the house before everyone woke up, coming home after dark, and then trading your physical presence for a steady paycheck. Men were taught to climb a corporate ladder even if it meant missing the lives that they were actually trying to build. For today's episode, we are challenging that old blueprint. We're going to talk about a possible exit and what it actually looks like to become a good provider from home. And of course, I'm no dad, I'm no husband. To help me break that down, to break down that stereotype, I have two incredible guests with me today. I have one veteran freelancer dad who has spent years raising his kids while running, working from home, and of course, a soon to be father who is now drawing a line to ensure he is present from day one. So pull up a chair, grab a coffee, and let's redefine what it means to provide. All right, let us welcome our guests for today's episode. We have Sherwin and Ferjo. Why don't you guys kick things off by introducing yourself? And let's start with our soon to be dad, Ferjo.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm Ferdinand Joaquin Venus, but yeah, people call me Ferjo. I'm 40, just turned 40 last May 14. And I'm actually living in Cebu now, but I'm originally from Manila. I have been here in Cebu since I think September 2018. So this is already what my eighth year, right? Eighth year here, so almost a decade. Now I have been married for 6 years. Me and my wife got married before the lockdowns happened, and yes, as Miss Reg said, I am the soon-to-be dad. My wife is 35 weeks as of today, so we're expecting that baby anytime soon. But yeah, as for freelancing, I have technically been doing it since 2009. I was a freelance photographer before. That's what I studied in college. That's what I really wanted to be. And although I've changed my careers now, I still do it actually during my free time. It's still a hobby of mine. So working from home wasn't really like anything new to me. I have been most of my work, even as a photographer, of course you'll go on site, but most of the work will be done at home actually. Editing, organizing, managing all of those folders. So it's nothing new, but again, like I said, I changed careers back in 2019 because of health reasons. I couldn't go out that much during that time, so I had to really, do change everything, right? Change what I knew. I had to relearn some things. I had to learn new things, of course. And during the pandemic, my first online job actually was, ESL teaching. I taught English. I started back in 2020. I still do it now. I actually was a trainer before. I became a trainer for new tutors, for new teachers coming into the industry. but I'm not. Sorry, I'm not a trainer now, but I still do teach during my free time because I really enjoy it. Right, and yeah, but now, like I said, I learned a lot of things, and I've heard the VA being a virtual assistant maybe back in 2021, 2022. It intrigued me, but actually, my first VA job came in 2024. I joined like a VA agency, a US based VA agency, and they trained us in like cold email and LinkedIn outreach, automation, everything, CRM, and also a little bit of admin and a little bit of executive assistance. So that was my first real foray into being a virtual assistant. But then, after that job, I just went into like a snowball of like again learning new things. And then that's when I ended up at Smart VAs, as a LinkedIn specialist because most of my other work before were LinkedIn related, outreach, very much outreach related, lead generation, of course, admin and executive assistants, things like that. But like I said, I'm still very much open to learning new things, and that's why I love it here. And yeah, thank you. That would be about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Virgil. Let's see if you'd still have time to be open to learning new things in the next few weeks.
I am.
I challenge you.
I should. I think I should. I should.
Well, yeah, there's that side to, that being, that needing to learn new things to be able to accept more tasks, maybe. But we'll see. Let's hear it from Sherwin. He has a different experience to share, of course, in line with our episode for today. So, Sherwin,
Hello, everyone. My name is Sherwin Christopher Reyes. I'm 41, just turned 41 this last February. And I've been living in San Pablo City, Laguna all my life. And I've been married since 2005. We actually celebrated our 20 years wedding anniversary last year. And it was a great time. I actually proposed to her for the first time, got the ring and everything. Something I didn't get the chance to, do when we were kids back in 2005. Um, we got three kids, 20, 17, and 5-year old. Um, so it was actually called home based job before when I started basically working from home uh, back in 2015. So I did a couple of freelancing like bingo operator. That was stationed in London. Couple of customer service, DoorDash delivery provider or operator. I even actually worked as a adult dating site operator. Um, Basically scamming people for fake fantasy. Well, actually, it was not fake fantasy because the fantasy is what we sell. It was fake love. So I was not proud of that. But thinking about it now, the things that I would do to provide for my family before, and to basically leave the corporate world. Um, Hobbies, I love music. I had a band before back in high school, mainly do emo rock, punk, those genres of music. But when I got old, the angst and anger is gone. I didn't actually know what I was angry about. I mean, my only problem was homework and puppy love. Um, so shifted my music taste now. Now I basically listen to almost everything. Um, So music and movies. My wife and I, we love to binge watch movies before. So not so much now, but yeah, I even rank movies that I watched before, or I used to rate them basically 1 to 5 stars on how I enjoy them. So yeah, that's basically me.
Thank you, Sherwin. So this is what really gets me excited for this episode because we have two different perspectives in terms of how you guys are approaching the stereotype, especially in the Filipino culture, right? So, of course, to our soon to be dad, really, really soon. So, I know, Ferja, that, the freelance world is not new to you, but given the usual stereotype of what it means to be a provider, a husband, and of course, eventually as a dad, did you ever consider working the usual 9 to 5 before? When you saw that positive pregnancy test, what work-wise thoughts did you have in terms of your role as a main provider?
Well, before I actually had a 9 to 5 job. I had the experience. I think almost all of us, most of us, working now as virtual assistants have customer service experience, right? I also have some customer service experience. I did that for almost a year and a half. I even became a senior pa nga eh, just after like 6 months because of an office thing. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun working with other people, face to face. It was fun, having to meet quotas during that time. My account was about meeting quotas, but it wasn't just. I think it's just not me, right? It wasn't for me. That kind of environment, because before I had the customer service job, I was already a freelance photographer, right? But I just wanted to increase my income during that time. So while doing photography at during usually in the evening, I'm up morning until late afternoon for my shift, right? But like I said, because it's not for me, I really like to have my own time, right? Alone time is very important for me. Even now, as a married man, I told my wife, I am not asking much. Just give me alone time, maybe an hour and a half to do my own thing. Play video games, just boy out. I think it's very important, especially working from home. It's what keeps most people sane. People working from home. It's hobbies, doing things that they love from home at home, right? Now, when I saw the positive pregnancy test, work wise, of course, number one is I really have to increase my income. Right? I think it's just the basic trail of thought. I remember my wife told me I was still sleeping around that was 8 a.m. And then it was really a shock for me because we've been trying for a lot of years already, but we even had already that talk, no, na no, tayo na lang. Maybe we will walk through life just us two. Maybe it's a sign. But of course, knowing having that great news is very very exciting. It made me really like more motivated. It gave purpose, right? Another purpose in life, right? So I'm really thankful for it, right? I'm not that much spiritual, right? I'm not very religious, but this year in Cebu, we always have that Sinulog festival, and there's always this Santo Niño mass where a lot of people go to. So yeah, me and my wife went there like for 8 straight days. It's a novena. So, just to give thanks for it, right? Because I have to give thanks to somebody, for this, because it's such a miracle, even especially at our age. So, luckily, as a freelancer, we have our own ways to increase our income. But of course, we all know it's a sacrifice, right? Increasing incomes, yes, it's possible, but you time for yourself gets cut down, time for your hobbies gets cut down, but it's again, this is a sacrifice that I'm willing to accept and I openly accept because I want my child to have the best, and I want to leave that legacy, for my to my family, right? Basically. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
definitely a blessing. That this little girl is definitely a blessing for Joy. I
thank
love.
you.
I'm hearing this for the first time. So
Thank you.
I love that we're getting to know you, to this extent, for Joy. And thank you again for being willing to share this story. And that definitely is a blessing. And we're excited for the next season, really coming soon for you. But of course, let's not forget our veteran VA dad over here with us, Sherwin. Take yourself back to that same moment years ago. Did you have the same realization, or did it take a few missed milestones for you to decide that you need to pull yourself out of the office?
Well, actually, same as Virgil's answer. You need to increase income. So when bas- basically that time when we were kids, actually it took me years and years of constant BPO hopping. So first off, I am a nursing student. Me and my wife, me and my girlfriend, now my wife, both of us are in nursing. So I got her pregnant third year or fourth year. She's third year. I'm graduating at nursing. Year after that, we got married, and so for me, it was really go time. We need to make this bread, or else maugutom talaga. So need ng extra income. I actually did not take my board exam uh, for nursing. I did not take my licensure. So straight to work. Straight to work na agad. And my friends, my classmates before are telling me up until now actually they're telling me to take the board, you know maybe if you didn't like being a nurse, just for experience, they say. But yeah, my mind basically my mind is really made up that time when I was 20 years old, um to find a job. So basically, like I said, BPO hopping. So my realization is those 13 to 14 years being a call center agent away from my family. The constant um, travel back and forth. Because I didn't want to um, go to Manila and be alone. To find a house there and just near whatever BPO I was working. So I didn't want to rent a place, so I just chose to um, go back and forth. Uh, so it took me 13 years of uh, realizing this is it's never gonna work, and I'm always tired. Usually when I go, I didn't see my kids when I go home. It was already they're already at school because I'm my eldest. For example, 2 o'clock, I'll be at 5. They're already at school, and I'm sleeping all the time. So basically, that's my realization.
Yeah, and it's difficult, especially if you'd be traveling from Laguna to Manila or wherever your work was. Even if it was years ago, I'm sure that would have been a very difficult travel and working at random schedules, not necessarily your usual 9 to 5, right? The pagod, wow, konyo. Iba yung pagod, 'di ba? Pag
Yeah.
night shift, iba. Even mid shift, iba. Basta iba talaga yung pagod ng BPO. Kahit masaya to for just point, right? It was really fun. You had different people, you get to go out, you actually get to go out a lot in the BPO,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
almost every day.
It's so
Yeah,
hard to
drinking
say
every
no.
day.
Yeah, I worked in the BPO industry for maybe 8 years also, but I only was an agent for a year before I moved to HR, and then that's the story. That's how the story went. But yeah, I definitely agree with you guys in terms of missing a lot when you need to travel or be someplace else, and that doesn't even include discussions about, for sure, when most probably school activities. It's so hard to file for time off. It's not all the time that you get to land a job that will allow you to take time off whenever you're called to attend maybe a declamation contest or a show that they will be doing, and it sometimes breaks your heart when you reach a point that you say, oh, I miss that again. And as men, so much of your ego is tied to your job title. Now, talking about the shift, how did it feel to detach your identity from a corporate role or maybe a known job title to working in your pajamas from the couch or from different parts of your house? Did that make you feel like less of a provider at first? Maybe from Sherwin, given that he has 3 kids right now, it would be interesting to hear that.
Actually, I didn't feel less of a provider. I mean, true provision means providing emotional stability, security, and physical presence. That's why, like I said, nung na-feel ko na hindi na nag-work yung pag-BPO ko, and mas ginusto ko na yung um, work from home, mas na-enjoy ko siya. Um, I always prayed and hope for something like this, stable job. Back when it was actually 2000, pandemic time, 2021, when I saw the posting for Smart VAs hiring. So yeah, and for me, I didn't lose any status. Like when you get the status for a corporate job, I actually gain ultimate luxury, which is time for my time for my family, basically.
I love how provision is turning into something else, right? How about you, Ferjo?
For me, I've been around. I've worked in several um, kinds of industries. I've worn a lot of different job titles, right? But I think for me, titles just doesn't matter as much as the skills that you build. And the people that you help and meet, and I think the problems that you solve, and of course the legacy that you leave. I think those are like way above than titles. For me, you know, um, I could always tell. I'm excited to tell my daughter. Because I worked a lot of odd jobs before. I remember back in the early 2010s to mid 2010s. It was you know you get these kinds of like yeah, you get like admin jobs, like email management jobs. But I also did some voiceovers. I also did acting. I have an IMDb page. So I'm willing. I'm I'm proud to tell that to my daughter. It's like, oh, your dad has an IMDb page. He was in a feature, and he was a executive producer. For this movie, and he has some music videos that you can find on YouTube. But like I said, I grew up, as a creative. Actually, I've never excelled really in like analytics, like math. I was good with science, but with math not so much. But I really loved art, and that's why I think that's why titles doesn't really mean much to me. And you know, uh, and yun nga, similar to Sir Sherwin, actually, growing up, I was also anti-system. I was outclass. I was the outcast. I was a metalhead. And nung college, I wore I had
Mohawk.
mohawk. Yeah, yeah. As in this, no hair here, just the middle one. I wore that during, I think, first year, second year of college. So, I didn't really care. But that's why parang fight the system. I don't care about titles. So
Parang mali yata yung guess ko. Parang wala kayong stereotype. Parang I didn't. Now I'm not hearing any of the stereotypes that I thought that we will talk about in this episode. I love it. I love the perspective. And maybe, this is a good realization too for our listeners in terms of, hey, it's okay to not be within the stereotype or not be within what society tells us to do, especially old Filipino culture. And sorry to cut you, Ferjo. Did you have other things to share in terms of the
ah,
identity shift for ego wise? All good for that?
no, I'm all good for that. Like I said, it's nothing. The titles are nothing. There are a lot more things that are more important than titles.
Yeah, and I think this I maybe I thought that not maybe I really thought that men would have some kind of a stereotype in terms of what they need to achieve. And maybe I can see that with my husband too, because every time I push him for something, he would tell me, nah, I'm okay. Nah, I don't want that. No, maybe soon. So maybe I just didn't see it because we didn't really talk about it to how we're talking about it now. But since you guys are in a way promoters of the work from home life, as dads and husbands, as main providers, right, for your family, what does that being more present at home mean to you now? Considering, or of course, I'm sure we all are aware of the stereotype of how wives and mothers are to be all around multitaskers, right? How does this shift in career change the usual family structure that we are all used to when we were growing up?
Okay. All right. Of course, I grew up. No. I think we're all millennials here, and we grew up in the late 80s, 90s, right? And during that time, the nuclear family was the prevalent parang
Set up
uh, setup. Yeah, sorry, the prevalent setup for the usual Filipino family, especially the Catholic Filipino
mhm,
family. But growing up, actually, I don't mind sharing this. I grew up with separated parents, right? Of course, I still saw my dad every week. My dad was all there all the way. But they, I lived. Me and my sister lived with my mother in Parañaque, and then my dad lived in Makati. So early on, I was already parang I'm already aware of this kind of situation. Na, okay, this is possible, pala. You know, these kind it and it still works. Just as long as, of course, the children gets to grow, properly. With education, with the basic essentials, that's the most important thing. And both of my parents were there, you know, and it it really like parang opened my eyes that there are some setups that possible out there in the world. And actually, me and my wife, my I work from home. My wife is actually the one who goes out, right? Because we have a she has a family business with her mom. So they go out usually. Sometimes they go out of Cebu. I will stay here because I have to work and I have to take care of the house, take care of the dogs, take care of the pets, everything. But I think I'm comfortable with that because I have always been a home person. So ayun. And then ngayon, I think nowadays men should also sorry, men should also learn to do things around the house. Me and my
I
wife,
agree. No.
me and my wife, our system here, we share chores, right? So, syempre walang lamangan. And I think during the pandemic, I think most dads learned how to do stuff at home more. Ako, I learned how to cook. I learned how to, be more domesticated. But, at least, like I said, being at home, may kita yun ng asawa, ng anak mo, ng anak, di ba, mga anak, na, you're there, you're always there, you're readily available for them, in any kind of capacity. Kung may problema sila, you can always confide with me, right? So I think iba na ngayon, a lot of men work from home, even my friends, a lot of them work from home. So, yeah, I think that's it. That's it for me.
So how about for you, Sherwin, as someone with three kids right now, what's the dynamics of the household?
Well, for me, being present, well, historically, a dad, or at least my dad, being present just means his physical body was, occupying space in the living room after 5 p.m., waiting for us, be back home from school, watching television or basketball on TV, reading newspaper. Um, to me, being present means taking ownership right now of the mental load, not just waiting for a to-do list. Just like Perjo says, it means I don't ask my wife, how can I help? Because, asking her those questions or asking her to delegate tasks to me is just giving her another job. Pagod na nga yung, pagod na rin siya sa trabaho niya. Pagod na rin siya sa mga bata. So, you know, true presence means looking around, fixing things. Just like Virgil says, pandemic days, natuto na rin ako maggupit kasi walang mapagupitan ng mga kids noon. So, ako na yung barbero sa amin. Um, I used to, actually hanggang ngayon, um, nadala ko siya, basically, hanggang ngayon. Um, Tumatawag yung mother ko, 'pag may sirang electric fan, yung mga gano'n. And ako na yung nagfi-fix ng mga bulb lights, yung mga simple things lang na hindi mo na para i-ask ng help pa sa iba, na babayad ka pa. So, you just look around, anticipate what needs to be done, whether, you know, preparing for dinner, um, realizing na, uy, madami na tayong um, madami na tayong labahin. Um, Try to, it's moving from helper to co-founder mindset sa bahay.
Love that. Love that. And I think that's one thing, that's one major thing that I didn't expect coming from the stereotype. I think the pandemic really changed that stereotype because everyone was forced to be at home. Everyone needed to change how they used to do things, and maybe I didn't expect that. That's why at some point I said maybe I have the wrong guests for today's episode. But I love how you guys shared that because that's definitely a reality for a lot of families right now. And I love how we're also able to bring that realization towards this episode. Sherwin, what's the biggest myth about working from home with a newborn? When you had your youngest, I think you were transitioning to working from home, right? But now as Virgil is preparing for that setup, what's the biggest myth about working from home with a newborn that you want to share for our soon to be dad?
Biggest myth, actually, the biggest myth about working from home with a newborn is yung idea na you can easily do both at the same time. Because newborns technically they just sleep all day. Yung thinking na it sounds so logical on paper because 14 to 17 hours nag-sleep yung baby, and then your thinking is, I can do so much work time that time frame, because my baby's just napping. It's that's I think that's the myth. And when you are working from home, it's very difficult to shift your brain into, or your brain between being a employee to being a dad. You know, it's for example, let's say you're working from home and you hear your baby crying in the next room. Of course, your tendency is to look for your and help your kid, help your baby. Um, if, for example, you don't help, you feel guilty.
Mm,
But if you jump in and help, then it slows down your workflow. Um, and like I said earlier, the key word or the key is to work with your partner or your wife. Um, ano lang naman yan eh. It's like, if you're working and you need to focus, just let your partner know, to give you a couple of minutes or couple of hours to do your work as fast as you can, so that you can attend to your baby, and then she can do her work then.
love that. That's why earlier, for
Thank
I
you,
remember
thank
I
you.
shared, let's see if you'd still be able to upskill after having a newborn. No, because it's really difficult. My
Yeah.
husband, when I gave birth to our youngest, which is turning 2 in October, so very fresh. My husband was lucky to have a lot of paternity leave because his company offers more than just the usual 7 days. He's employed in a Philippine-based company. That's why he has the usual paternity leave, SSS benefits, stuff like that,
Mhm.
right? But he had a lot of leave to exhaust after I gave birth, but it was really, really, really tiring. Even if I already have experience, right, with my firstborn, it's always a pregnancy is different from another pregnancy. So you really have to be ready for that for and I as a mom with a husband, of course, and a newborn, right?
Mhm.
The work setup that we have right now is a luxury, really, that you have the luxury to be able to run to the room whenever your baby or your child or your kid at whatever age would need you. And hearing this reality, Virgil, what gives you the most peace of mind as you prepare to continuously enjoy your freelance freedom while taking care of your newborn?
Actually, I'm talagang for me, I'm not taking this for granted. I know there are a lot of things that needs to be adjusted. Lalo na especially when the baby's already here. And yeah, of course, that crossed my mind. Yeah, na, mostly baka nga na ano. But What gives me most peace of mind is, I think, actually my wife. Because my wife works like in a different industry, so she has different hours. So and she's really very excited as well to be a mother, and we already got a yaya.
Wow.
But yeah, but the she told the yaya talaga na, I will be more hands-on, with the baby. We need you to, maybe just clean up, laundry, and if we need the food, the bottles, the formula, everything cleaned, everything mixed, she will be the one who will do that. But like carrying the baby, really would my wife plans to really to do that herself. And she's really my wife is very stubborn about it. I told her na, maybe baka there might be some days na you might go out, then sabi niya, no, sabi niya, I'll make, I'll make plans, I'll make everything, she's a very strong woman, very independent woman, and she has been my rock for like, I've met her for like, I've met her like 2012, right? So we've been together for a little bit, also long time na rin. So I've known her for like almost half of my life already, almost. So um, she's my rock, right? And that gives me a peace of mind because she's really, really determined, to be a good mom, to be a hands-on mom, right? I think I think all of us, because she has a chip on her shoulder. I also have a chip on my shoulder. We always want. Me and my wife wants to be better, parents than our parents. They were good parents. We're not saying that they're not good. They're very good parents, but we want to be better than them, right? So, that is also my goal, and that gives me the peace of mind as well moving forward.
Yeah, and the capacity to be present, really,
Yeah,
to support what your wife wants,
yeah,
as a direction for your family. Unsolicited advice. Just
hmm,
don't lose yourselves.
yeah,
I know that
yeah,
you will shift your focus, right? So it's a huge shift.
hmm,
And I'm sure Sherwin will agree. Especially right? It's definitely going to be a huge shift. So just don't lose yourself, as you focus on being new parents. Just make sure that you don't lose being husband and wife, because at the end of the day,
yeah,
it's going to be the two of you. It's
yeah.
it right. So just that unsolicited advice over here. But
And I think my who told me that. I think one of my best friends, right? This was I remember this because this really stuck with me, and we talked about this way back before, the early 2010s. He told me, that I think when we marry, when him and I get married, we should find like a partner rather than the wife, right? Because partners will always be with you, and that's what I found with my wife, and yeah, of course I won't lose myself. I plan to. I already told my wife I won't lose my alone time, huh? I won't.
Sherwin,
Don't
do you have
go,
your
huh?
alone time? May ganun ka din ba?
Pero
Meron.
usually,
Okay.
uh,
Bakit kasama ko
usually,
walang ganun?
Because my alone time is just it's just parang it's just something that clears out, everything, especially with work, with what's happening outside of work as well, just clear things out, do what you want to do, and something that would, I know, just something that aligns me. I don't know if it works for everybody, but for me, having alone time just something just aligns me. So yeah, it's important for me.
Yeah, good. No, definitely good advice coming from the both of you. As we wrap up today's episode, do you have any message that you want to share coming from where you guys are at right now with the luxury that you have? Not everyone has a work from home job. Not everyone has, the privilege that you guys have as someone who can be more present at home for your wife, for your children, right? What message would you have for, work from home, maybe work from home husbands or dads, or those considering to shift to working from home? Let's start with Ferjo.
Well, for me, there are a lot of opportunities out there nowadays. For most people, if you have if you have one skill with the computer, right, or with a platform, that's already, that's already a basis or a structure, like a skeletal structure for you if you want to shift, to working from home, right? So all you have to do is just to sharpen that, or add things to that, right? So that because like for me, in my experience, the things that I know now, right, are like a lot more than what I knew last year, right? So it's a constant learning process, but do not be discouraged because you'll get to also learn a lot of things, automatically, like passively, right? Or from people, or if you have, like here, we have teams, you can talk to people, you can it's easier to upskill if you want to, right? But there are a lot of resources out there, you just have to be, just you just need to want it, right? You just need to really upskill. You just need to want it, and you just, of course, it's an adjustment, especially with the time. If you're not really, di ka sanay sa sa time schedule usually of VAs, then it might be an adjustment, but it's a doable adjustment, right? So there are a lot of things, a lot of opportunities for you here, working from home, but you just have to be smart about it, right? You can't just like leave your and then start work from home next week or next month, right? You just need to be smart about it, maybe read more about it, maybe watch. Like I said, there are a lot of references out there before you jump in, right? And yun, sabi ko, you just need to want it, you need to upskill, and you need to adjust. Those are my, that's what uh, uh, how can I say this? That's what I learned, and that's what I did. That's in my experience. So there.
Thanks, Ferjo. How about you, Sherwin?
For me, actually, short and sweet. Uh, Basically, accept the chaos, but don't wait for a crisis. Um, Always communicate with your. So basically, kayo lang naman dalawa ng partner mo. Um, and assuming that meron kayong kids or like Virgil having a newborn, always communicate. Don't lose your sanity over things because like you said, Miss Reg, working from home is a privilege. Not all can and are willing to work in the comfort of their home. So if you're already in this world and you don't want to go back to the corporate life, um, that's basically what that's basically my message is to not lose your sanity.
I love how this episode helped, change my mindset as a wife and as a mom who works from home, and how the perspective now is different in terms of how men actually want to provide. And thank you, Sherwin and Ferjo, for sharing a part of your lives in this episode to inspire other dads and soon to be dads. To every dad and dad to be listening today, your greatest legacy will definitely not be your title, it's your availability. It's your presence at home. So don't wait for the system to change. You can change your own blueprint with quiet consistency to build a career from home. Happy Father's Day! See you next month!